Hello, friends. I have a topic today that I'm very interested in, very excited to talk about, and very grateful for the conversations and even the challenges from some of you behind the scenes that have brought it about. As you all know, one of my intentions for what I'm doing and what we're doing together is a new paradigm of spiritual practice, spiritual inquiry, and what it means to do this together. What it means for me to be the guide or the teacher or the leader without being confused as an all-knowing, all-powerful guru, authoritarian figure. I had an epiphany this morning about this very thing that I want to share with you. It's been very clarifying, some of the questions that you guys are asking me, again, via email or on the side in conversation. I really like and welcome challenging questions. It helps me grow, helps me know where you are, helps me know what's important or up for people to talk about. If you hear the blender right now, it's my lovely wife, Christy. Everybody say hey to Christy. It'll be done in just a second. The insight, the epiphany that I had this morning was how to connect this conversation with the understanding and our ongoing discussion of stages. Remember, one of the philosophical underpinnings of stages is that it's not just an interpretation through a lens of a quote-unquote pre-given world. Same world, just interpretation is different. That's not it. What we're talking about is entire morphic fields that vibrate at different frequencies. It's almost like, as they say, based on parallel dimensions and realities, that there are other dimensional, otherworldly beings in this very space with me here now. It's just in a different phase, as they say. Not in the third dimensional gross physical reality as we know it. So there are ghosts here. There are aliens here. There are extraterrestrials here. There is a difference, by the way, between alien and extraterrestrial, which we can get into sometime. So we inhabit completely different worlds at different phases and vibration of evolutionary development. It's science, it's objective. And our mainstream science is beginning to find very clear evidence for this in the exterior, but it's no less true on the interior as well. So 2 individuals, one at magic, one at mythic, one at pluralistic, one at rational, one at integral, one at second tier, one at third tier, is not different from me being here and possibly a ghost sitting right beside me in another realm. Same world, different world. Not just seeing reality through a different lens. In the movies, it's like we can kind of see each other. I can see the ghost, or the ghost is trying to interact with me. And sometimes that sort of thing happens. But usually, we're not interacting with another person. We're interacting with our own self in our own world. Yes, through our own lens. But we're seeing it from our own perspective and not that person in their world. So if it's a higher evolved level of development or stage, it'll be, as Ken says, over your head. And you'll interpret it as that. So we can see each other in our physical bodies because exteriorly we live in the same third dimensional domain in the same way as we don't exist in the same dimension as the ghost. So you looking at me, we're actually using this technological dimension right now. I'm sending this message into the future to you, which is pretty cool. It's already a bending of space-time. But when we're gathering in group, it seems we're in the same world, but we are only in the same world exteriorly, third dimension, as a human. Interiorly, we inhabit vastly different spaces. That's part of my goal, is to acknowledge that so that we can kind of be like ghosts that see each other. Pretty cool. And also ghosts that grow through stages. And we can actually interact and not hunt each other with our biases. Or hurt each other with our belief systems. So with that in mind, I want to talk about I use this term lightly, teacher-student relationship, or guide and community relationship, or the guru paradigm that is quickly and rapidly crumbling, or my role with you in terms of stages. So whether or not this conversation feels resonant to you, whether or not you're one of these that has asked me a question behind the scenes, it'll still be a very beneficial topic, I promise you. I can say, as Kemper, playing this role in your awareness, because that's what I'm doing, arising in your awareness, playing a certain role. I am coming from and delivering teachings, content, invitations, experientials, injunctions, as they say, coming from at least integral. I myself, as Kemper, in my interior world, in my daily life, do operate in third tier, which, don't worry, we will get there. You will get there. Don't jump ahead. Remember, each progressive or successive stage includes the best of all the previous. So if I'm coming from at least integral, which itself understands the necessity of including magic through pluralistic into itself, then you can rest assured if you are integral or below, then I understand where you're coming from. That's a fact by definition because I've been there. If you don't understand where I'm coming from, it'll either be over your head, you can use it as a morphic field to pull yourself up, or you'll fight me. You'll challenge me because it doesn't fit into your paradigm. It'll feel too much of a stretch. I don't know what he's talking about. So you can either use it as a challenge for yourself and bring me good questions in that regard, or you'll probably run away. And if you do come to me and let's sit down and talk about it, you'll see I'm not so scary. It's actually not so difficult. The only thing you have to give up is everything you are not. So when the ego feels threatened, or when one stage feels threatened and it's not already understood in your psyche that it's a good thing to grow, that if you feel challenged, it might mean you need to let go of something in order to move up, become more mature, more evolved, then you will go squirming and the ego will throw up a wall of defense, holding on for dear life, literally. Because the self at this level, the ego at this level has to die. And I've said this already. It's a new self. You must be born again, says this guy. Yeah. It's a death and a rebirth. Death and a rebirth. Death and a rebirth. It's sort of like reincarnation in this life. So those of you who don't really believe in reincarnation or not so sure about it, you've probably already done it a few times in this life, interiorly at least. If you're no longer at magic, which is basically where we all start. So if you're at mythic or rational or pluralistic, you already died a few times and been reborn before this physical body even went anywhere. So that's interesting. Reincarnation is real, exterior and interior. So I'm coming from at least integral, which means I know how to speak the language of magic, mythic, rational, and pluralistic. We are in a time in our collective when the tip of the spear is integral and moving into third tier. It's kind of like it's got to be integral or nothing, which again is simply a reinterpretation of all the stages previous. So all the stages previous can't go away. They have to be there. But integral sees that they're necessary, and integral teachers, integral guides, integral pastors, integral community leaders have a desire to activate what's called the conveyor belt. to pull people up. If they want to. You don't have to. There's freedom in this as well. So as Kemper, am arising only in your awareness. And if we take it beyond just the personal, that Kemper is arising even in my awareness as kind of a face mask, costume, one of an infinite variety of emanations that consciousness can express itself as. I am Kemper, I am not Kemper. I am Kemper, I am not Kemper. I am you, I am not you. All arising only in awareness or consciousness or presence or I amness or non-dual witness. It's a new term I've come up with. Not just witness, not just non-dual, non-dual witness. Then we all have to decide what to do with this information. It's being downloaded from somewhere else and uploaded, inspired, activated by my own personal work and growth. My own implementation of what I'm asking you to do. So lower level teacher-student lineage paradigms tell you have to do something. We've grown beyond that. For me, it's injunctions. This is what I've seen. This is how I see it. This is what you can do to see it too. Simple. A teacher, a guide, is, quote unquote, nothing more, also nothing less, than someone who knows how to do something or knows a certain piece of information, knows a particular skill, and wants to show other people how to know, how to do, how to achieve the same thing. Ultimately, there should be no separation. Ultimately, there is no separation. The I amness expressing itself as you and as Kemper and as all things. Relatively, there's separation. But it doesn't have to be a negative thing. There's a gap. To me, I see it as a challenge. A place where you are that I want to be, and can you show me how to get there? Oh, great, wonderful. And it requires listening. So the other thing that's different about what I'm doing, in that it's integral plus, is that this container is huge, y'all. This vibratory frequency is high. There are many options. We have Jewish people, we have atheists, we have agnostics, we have scientists, we have Christians, we have yogis, we have Buddhists, all in our one little group, and I love it. That must mean that I am sending out an integral plus signal. The fact that you're all still here, and among that group, we have magic mythic, we have rational, we have pluralistic, we have integral. It's beautiful. But based on your stage as Kemper is arising in your awareness, you will do with Kemper what that stage says to do with one like me. Being someone who knows something that's trying to pass it on, whether or not I'm coming from that place or not. So magic understanding of a teacher is to give all of your power away, to worship or to crucify. Because this being is magical, knows all the answers. There's a great degree of separation. I can't do it without this being. And if this being doesn't tell me what I want to hear, I'll turn away. It's very egocentric, or I'll kill him. Or, on the other hand, put them up on a pedestal. Some of these teachers, if they are at magic also, that's the key, or have a low-level magic subpersonality that's not yet been evolved and matured, or if you are already higher than that, but you have a lower subpersonality at magic from old religious wounds and things. And sometimes that teacher eats it up. That's the goal for that teacher, is to be worshipped, is to get followers, or to be misunderstood. Neither of those are where I'm coming from. So it makes gods out of humans unnecessarily. In higher levels, yeah, the human is divine. I and the Father are one. Kemper, the message, the messenger, the download, the high frequency are not two, non-dual. Not the same as low-level magic, separation, pedestal, enthronement. It takes the power right out of your hands. So we have like Hindu guru Shaktipat, bam. And sometimes it is actually like a hit on the forehead or Zen stick. Whack! And there's like some kind of magical power. Not that it just like woke up your consciousness, or in a morphogenetic field sense, which is rational or higher. Oh, this being just vibrates at a higher level. Like if you want to get better at tennis, spend time watching Rafa Nadal play, Roger Federer. Spend time watching them play. Spend time in their presence. If you want to get better at basketball, spend time watching LeBron James. Watch old Michael Jordan highlights. It's no different. But because those sports themselves are kind of coming from a very magical place, then we worship them. You want to get better at playing guitar? Watch Jimi Hendrix videos. Then we worship him. And then probably because of the worship is why he ended up kind of going downhill and dying at such a young age, right at Saturn's return, couldn't handle the pressure. Never wanted that anyway. As I understand it, he and a lot of these others are pretty shy dudes. Just want to express their art, but because of the magical level of consciousness of the collective, which automatically worships or crucifies the gods of the society, the ones they're inspired by, rather than seeing that the inspiration is in themselves. Don't know what to do with them. Who is this person? They did that to Jesus. Are you the Son of God? He's like, well, yeah, but you are too. That's the higher level message. So they didn't know what to do with either one of those. Well, yeah, they didn't know what to do with that. And you are too. They didn't know what to do with that. So they killed him. And a lot of these magic gurus that are still around today try to keep their people separate. Try to stay untouchable in the clouds. You'll never understand the heights I've reached, or I have some special knowledge from God given only to me. That's already separation. It's not even relative oneness or ultimate oneness. So then, moving up the ladder to the kind of mythic understanding, there can be one in charge, like a pastor or a priest, or I don't really know, honestly, how to translate the mythic into other religions right now, but you do it on your own in your mind. Because the mythic Christian world is where I was raised. I know it very well. And actually what I was trained to eventually have a profession in until I moved far and beyond it. So pastor or priest, bishop, that sort of thing. There can be a one in charge. By the way, this is all kind of looking at it from a masculine perspective as well. When we get to integral, it integrates masculine and feminine. Most of our history has been very male, masculine dominated. And for another topic, for another time, we can talk about feminism and the fact that just because it's a woman in charge doesn't mean that she's using feminine attributes. Often it's just a woman, and it's kind of like woman power. You see that woman power all the time. Well, power is often a masculine trait. Could women bring the feminine in, as they say is happening, and do it in that way rather than masculine? Whether it's a man or a woman, or transgendered or neutral or whatever. Can we implement the healthy version of both? That's integral. Period. So also, one of the reasons it might be challenging to understand like where I'm coming from, and I'm trying to navigate this fine line, hold the space, hold the container, it's because I'm a male that has both very strong masculine qualities and very strong feminine qualities. I think most of you probably see that. It's kind of transcend and include both. It's even very challenging for me to say, like, I'm a masculine polarized man. I have a lot, almost equal parts of both in my male biological body. In any case, the mythic kind of teacher-student or pastor community lineage, we're also talking about lineage here, relationship, is that you give your kind of individual power away. It's higher than magic in that you now include a group, but it's a group that buys into your belief system. And if you don't, then you're not a part of the group. So the role of the leader is to make sure that container, which is not a container of freedom, it's a container of constriction. It's a container of dogmatic belief structure. And it's usually about believing certain facts. Like you have to believe that this is how it is, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And no, even if science, even if the evidence is right here that says otherwise, you won't believe it. And that creates a fracture in and of itself, because there's fear usually embedded in this mythic membership level. And it's the job of the leader to make sure that fear stays and that nobody gets out of line. That's not what I'm doing either. And some power-hungry people or power-deprived and overcompensated people love that role, especially if they're an Enneagram 6. See how this all mixes in together. They love whacking people to stay in the group based on belief system. It's not really a true guide. It's a fearful lawmaker. And again, some people or students or community members love to give that autonomous power away to one in charge of the mythic level. Tell me what to believe. Tell me what to believe. Right? And they just will. And it usually has nothing to do, the teacher or the pastor or whatever, the leader, the guide of the mythic level, usually has nothing to do with an actual self-realization. It's like you've heard me say about, I won't name names, but this pastor of a certain church here locally. Everybody's a huge church. It's one of these mega churches, thousands of people. Like a couple years ago at the New Year's Eve or Christmas ceremony, Christy and I went to. He's like, I sure hope that I don't make the same mistakes this year that I made last year. But it was a hope. It was like a belief in a separate God that may or may not help him achieve that without some actual practices. And I don't know what the people listening to him were thinking, like, oh, yeah, me too. If it gave them permission to make mistakes too because the pastor does. Or if it was kind of like, oh, this is hopeless, the pastor can't even do it, then I'm definitely not going to be able to do it. So there's a fine line between vulnerability and exposure and being honest. As you guys know, I do. I wear my heart on my sleeve and open my chest right in front of you. And saying, I've actually found a way that works. I actually know a pathway to not make the same mistakes. Here are the mistakes I made this past year. I'm actually not going to repeat them because I know how to implement my practice. Oh, well, he's the one in charge, and so I have to listen to what he says. Magic, mythic. Graduate to rational, right on the tail of what I just said. You can now think for yourself. You actually don't have to listen to any authority. And that's beautiful. I'll go ahead and say right out the gate that then if that becomes an overcompensatory mechanism to the previous, or if there's a wound from the previous, then you might level out here at rational. Never listen to anybody else again. The role of authority is in question here too. Authority doesn't have to mean authoritarian. Whether you give that permission to the person or they're just doing it. Authoritarian means it's kind of domineering, overbearing. I know something that you don't. But the authority, it's like, who's the authority on whatever it is these days? Fill in the blank with a topic. That just means someone who knows a lot about it and can speak from experience. They even said about Jesus, he spoke as one with authority. Whereas the other teachers of the law, and they called them the scribes and the Pharisees and the Jewish teachers of his day, did not speak with authority or experience. They spoke in references. They always referred to the Bible. They always referred to what Moses said. They always referred to what something else said. Anybody can do that. A parrot can do that. Jesus spoke his own words, saying what it looked like and felt like to him. And that was threatening. He speaks as though he has authority, but it's not authority that we like. It doesn't fit our mold. So, rational says fuck authority, which is good. It's healthy. Sometimes teenagers have to say fuck my parents. And then hopefully it comes back around in a healthy and mature way. But in order to break away, sometimes the mythic level stage is the hardest to break out of because of that, because it's so fear-based and so constricted. And if you even think outside of here, you'll get in trouble. Man. So rational, the authority doesn't necessarily have to be a teacher or another person. You kind of become your own authority at rational, which itself can be pathologically egocentric if it's primarily a revolt against the previous authoritarian figures. At the same time, at rational, the authority can start to be someone who has actually understood something respectfully, not just because God ordained it or because they're worshipped as a guru rock star or something. So Christy and I watched the Stephen Hawking movie. I forget the name of it, but that actor played an amazing job of Stephen Hawking. And there was a moment where he was still like a young guy. It was either like during his doctoral dissertation or soon thereafter. And his professor, his very respected and influential professor, was sitting in the audience listening to him. Didn't matter age, didn't matter status, didn't matter how much time he had spent in the field or how much experience he had had. The elder teacher recognized my student or my former student has something important to say and I want to listen to him. So that starts to happen at rational. Think about it. Use your head. Does this have something good for me to listen to or not? Not just because it's an ordained authoritarian figure. So you get to start to make your own decisions. It's like in the mythic church world, they kind of tell you what books or movies you can or can't watch or what music you can or cannot listen to. I remember when I was a kid, it was like anything with parental advisory on it. Can't listen to it. Later on, from the integral level, you should make discerning choices about what you put into your psyche, what you watch, movies, media, music, etc. I most certainly do. But just because there's a curse word without listening to what the lyrics are saying and taking the kind of magical meaning out of curse word, think about it. Curse is a very magical. Have you ever thought about that? It's a curse word. Putting a curse on someone from a magical level, that might mean something, but let's grow up. Just because there's this certain 4-letter word doesn't mean anything. So it's all in context. That's why this is integral. I'm saying yes, but, yes, and. So at the rational level, you start to think for yourself. What pieces are important to me? But then again, if there's a disdain for authority, you'll never listen to anybody else again. So it's important to grow up to the next level, pluralistic, which says the magic way is not the way, the church dogmatic way is not the way, your way is not the way. It's very multi-perspective now. Listen to all the voices, listen to all the paths. Unfortunately, the contradiction in pluralistic is that it doesn't make discerning decisions. So it says all voices are now equal, all paths are now accepted, but it doesn't invite you to find one and stick with it and see it to completion. That's one of the strengths of actually kind of the magic teacher-student lineage. It's like you submit yourself to a teacher who knows something that you don't in the Zen schools or the Egyptian mystery schools or what have you. And you just follow it to completion. And if you're lucky, then the teacher is loving and not abusive. Follow it through and you achieve whatever it is they say you can achieve. But in the pluralistic, where like everybody's right, then of course there's an inherent contradiction. Everybody's right except the fundamentalist Christians. Everybody's right except mainstream science. Everybody's right except authority. It still has kind of a disdain for authority. I can do what I want to. I can dabble here and there. But guess what? In dabbling here and there, it's so shallow. You never get anywhere. You never make any progress. You still don't listen to any teachers, or you listen to a bunch of conflicting teachers that put in your system conflicting things. I've had some amazing private sessions with some of you guys in which I could sense, again, if I were coming from magic, I would say, or if you're coming from magic, you might interpret me as saying, don't listen to that teacher. Don't listen to that teacher. Only listen to me. It's not what I'm saying at all. From an integral plus perspective, I have many different viewpoints. Many different options. This container is vast and deep and wide and high vibrating that we're creating here. Hope you see that. What I did see is I was asking questions. Who have you studied with? What have they told you? What do you see as the goal of meditation? And not only was it out of alignment with what I'm talking about, but it's just out of alignment from integral. And like I said, it's got to be integral or kind of nothing. But integral itself means everything. Hear me. So I just invited some of you to, like, if you don't mind, trust me, not blind belief trust, but trust me, take a chance. Take this out of your practice. Take this out of your practice. Shift this belief a little bit. I'm sorry that that person told you that, but he's very misguided. Because I'm making discerning choices as a teacher from my own experience and from an integrated place. And kind of like little chiropractic adjustments, click, 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 boom, it was there. So that's actually what they do in chiropractic. The term subluxation, sublux means beneath light, like below optimal, subluxation. When you have a subluxation of a vertebra, then it's out of place a little bit, and the spinal cord or the nerve endings, the communication to that part of your spine to wherever it communicates, your arms, your fingers, or down to your toes or your organs or whatever, is getting blocked. The chi, the energy flow is getting blocked. And so click, click, back to luxation, back in alignment, and then the energy flows as it's supposed to. So that's what's happened with some of you guys who've had privates with me. Also, a couple of you have kind of it's very specific too, have damaged wounding from the past regarding what Ken Wilber calls second person God. God as thou or other, that which you can relate to. There's first person God, I amness. Second person God, you or thou. Third person God as like Gaia, web of life, the hologram. I kind of merge a few of them, Heavenly Father hologram. We'll get into that another time. But I was like, bring back a devotional practice. Surrender to God again from a higher level, not from that wounded place. And some light bulbs went out. You know who I'm talking to here. Did I say light bulbs went out? Some light bulbs went off. Click, click, boom, it was already there. So in this very dysfunctional world that we live in, also a very beautiful world, everybody has their perfect place. There's some trash that we pick up along the way. We are in the Kali Yuga, here at the end of a very dense and dark cycle. So I'm still doing my work. I'm still cleaning up some of my own trash from before, but it's pretty clear now. I at least am aware of it and know what happened along the way, even if I'm still embodiedly working out the actual realizations, implementing them into my body-mind manifest experience. The magic level, if you find one kink in the teacher's armor, is over. Pedestal falls. Whatever am I to do? Oh no, I was wrong. At the same time, I won't be that one that says, I can't quit making the same mistakes. No, I have found a way out, and I'm still working. So pluralistic is very shallow, but at the same time, it's better than rational. I won't say better, more highly evolved than rational. Because you start considering other perspectives than just your own, including the rational capability to make good decisions, but it falls flat. Kind of never get anywhere. It's like, well, I listened to this teacher and this teacher and this teacher. That's why I am not saying you have to only listen to me, but all over my website, all over my videos, all over everything, I have all of these others that you can listen to. Father Thomas, Ken Wilber, Muji, Adyashanti, that are within the container that I'm giving. And there are others that I do not agree with. There are others that feed you garbage. And if you're just on a pluralistic level, that will sound offensive. Oh no, but everybody's equal and right. No teacher's saying the wrong thing. Yes, they are. And that's why you've not made progress. The progress that you've wanted to. So it's kind of like in the way down magic level, where you aligned yourself with a teacher and worshiped them and surrendered everything to them and did exactly everything they said. Now I'm inviting you to align yourself at least to integral. Align yourself. If you need a guide or a teacher, here I am. But hear what I'm saying from a higher place. I want to pull you up. I want you to see what I see. I don't want there to be separation. Ultimately, there is none. And if like listening to Kemper talk all the time is too much, then stop it. But shift to someone else at integral or above. You have to. You have to, especially even if you're not there. Because your level has kind of run its course, especially if you're listening to this right now. You're wanting to grow. Part of you is wanting to grow. Now we will get to third tier. But what's required of you? Ego dismantling. Growth to at least integral. And proficiency in all the meditative states of consciousness and the ultimates. That's required for third tier. So this is actually a really great conversation. And I am navigating the waters as your guide. I've not only accepted the responsibility, but you guys are asking for my perspective. And I'm honored. It's my calling in life. I've always known that. I want to meet you where you are, but not keep you where you are. Know the difference between a magical leader, either one that thinks they are, or your perspective of a leader from your magical place, and integral. It's way different. Sometimes different stages, just like different enneagrams, look similar, but are vastly different. So you have to look deeper. And I enter, and this community is growing right in a context, in a town that is drenched with shallow spiritual development, with a rotten, wounded root from past religious experience, cloaking itself in New Age, hybrid Hindu, yoga, paganism fluff. There's a way to integrate those, guys. That's not what I see in this town. So I have many options. I don't just talk about Jesus. I don't ask you to buy into a belief system. I'm asking you to align yourself with a container. And if there's dissonance, see where the dissonance is. If it's just that you don't care to continue with me anymore, fine. But maybe the dissonance is in your understanding of stages. Maybe your dissonance is from prior wounding. Maybe your dissonance is from a misunderstanding of where I'm coming from. On the other hand, we have authoritarian guru figures that just want to get likes on their Facebooks. Do what I say or bust. So the shallowness that never gets any traction for realization, but just fills your system with conflicting views in pluralistic, or the one that a lot of us are tired of listening to, the all-perfect, all-knowing, separated guru figure, rock star from mythic or below, or the ones that we're tired of, like, just thinking for myself because I'm not getting anywhere alone. I need to listen to someone who knows something that I don't. That's where integral comes in. That's where I come in, right in this town. And that's why you can't catch me saying a particular thing. Yes, and all of it. At the same time, I am saying something, because pluralistic, artistically at least, pluralistic from an artistic perspective, like postmodern art and writing, deconstructs the fuck out of everything. And I certainly love to deconstruct the fuck out of everything. Read my book and I deconstruct language, but I don't leave it there as everything's just meaningless. I then bring it back around and actually say something by saying you can't say anything. Hear me. And that's beyond rational. So don't try to grasp it rationally. So I am actually saying something. By not being able to be nailed down to one particular thing. Are you this? Yes and no. Are you the Son of God? Yes, and you are too. This is so important, so necessary. Did you see that? I grabbed my mustache when I did that by accident. And this is cutting edge news. This is what's happening in the collective. And there's no rush, there's no timeline. I'm just saying this is the morphic field, this is the container that I'm creating. And I got all the time in the world. I got all the patience in the world. Not to wait until you finally agree with me, but for you to go through your own process and progress. Because I understand, 1,000 years is one day in the mind of God. So in the perspective of ultimate awareness and presence, I don't need you to get anything in any particular time. At the same time, time is of the essence in our culture. I'm grateful to be here with you. And thank you for watching. I really, truly am committed to this process, to this role, to my own practice, to learning, to exposing myself, to being vulnerable, to leading you, to guiding you, to supporting you, to telling the truth. I deeply love and am grateful for each one of you. So to conclude, I would invite you integral allows you and welcomes you and invites you to and encourages you to learn from multiple perspectives and sources, but not just willy-nilly and not shallowly. So the container that I'm holding holds many different perspectives and options and possibilities for you. So you won't and shouldn't ever just get nauseous and tired of listening to me, because when you listen to me, I'm telling you to listen to lots of other people, but be discerning. At the same time, I'm giving you very simple guidelines, practices, invitations, the basics, meditation practice, and I would highly recommend that you just do the ones on the homepage of the website here, because they do come from my vibratory container. Meditation practice, interior muscles and domain, get to know what the interior is. Continually ask, who am I? And conversely, who am I not? Tune in on a regular basis to the ultimates. And that's all the time. And do your shadow work on the relative finite self. Take responsibility for your journey. Don't give your power away. Give your respect in a sense of oneness and discernment and listening. Obedience actually has its root meaning in to listen. So we should be listening to everything and everyone arising in our awareness and make discerning decisions and choices. Just because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean you throw it away. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. It's kind of a violent image, but that's a figure of speech. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Many beautiful babies and a lot of gross bathwater. Make sure you know the difference. I'll leave you with that. I love you guys. Namaste.